Hello, hello. I'm
Hello.
Christy Forsyth.
And I'm Christopher Stilson.
And we're hanging together. It's been a minute since we've done a video together. We're going to let Chris share this video on his page so that people
can pop on
and say hello.
We want to make sure everyone can join in.
We just want this to be a nice little chat today.
Yeah.
We'd love to answer your questions, that you have your spiritual questions.
It has been a while since we've been together.
When was the last time?
I think it was a top episode with Davey. Wasn't that the last time we went live together?
I think so.
It was a top episode with Davey.
Yeah. That was, if you guys didn't see that, you should go back and watch that because that was.
Oh, please do. We have so much fun. And the tub idea, we don't even know where that even came from. I think it was just because my mom had a big tub and we were like, let's do it.
Yeah, a little history on that. So so whenever I mention Chris's name or when someone when he mentions my name to people, one of the first things that people say is that the person that you do the bathtub videos with? Yeah. And it's been a minute since we've done a bathtub video. We're going to do one. We're going to do one.
We are.
But that we just one day decided we were going to do a video in a bathtub. We don't know why, but it was a very popular video.
It was. And I think it's because we like to, we like to step out of the box. So we like to be, we like to think differently. And so when we did it, we had so much fun and everyone loved it. And I think we did 2 videos of just us together in there, and then the one with Davey.
And then the one with Davey, where Davey popped out of the bubbles with goggles.
With a full suit on. With a full suit.
It was amazing. The 3 of us have to pop back in that bathtub.
We do.
But it's the 2 of us here today, and we've been talking about doing a live together for a little while. Yeah. And we thought today would be a good time because Chris has a book coming out soon that we're very excited about.
I'm super excited. So the book is called From Life to Afterlife, What Happens When You Die, and it comes out on Wednesday. Now, Wednesday is the year anniversary of my grandmother's death. So,
I love that.
Yeah, so it'll be a year. And the book was inspired by her anyways. So what happened, a little background story on it, was when my grandmother first passed, she was my best friend, love of my life. We did everything together. I didn't want to see her. Being a psychic my whole life and communicating with spirit my whole life, I didn't want to see her. And I told my spirit guide, Anna, I was like, no, don't let her come to me. I don't want to see her. I don't want to talk to her. She did show up like a couple times, like just in little seconds. But then a couple months after her passing, I had a dream about her. And I walk into her living room and I knew she was dead. I'm like, what are you doing? And she's like, well, you won't let me talk to you when you're awake. I have to come in somehow. And I'm like, that's my grandma's stubborn ass. That's how she is. That's
I like her grandma. I love a stubborn ass.
She'll push limits all she can. And in the dream, we discussed her passing and how her process was and all of that. And I woke up and had the idea of writing a book on it because a lot of people fear death. A lot of people don't understand the other side or what happens when we die. So I created a book that has information from the prospect of a world-renowned psychic medium as myself, my spirit guide Anna, and then the little information that I thought was good for my grandmother through the dream. So the book is dedicated to her, and there's actually a picture of her and I in the book, which I absolutely love. And that's why it comes out the year anniversary of her death.
That's so cute. I didn't even know any of that. I love that. Yeah. That's so sweet. And how cool is that that's part of how you learned about this? I realize you do readings with people all the time, so you get information about this all the time, but to learn about some of the parts of that from your grandmother who you were so close with and connected to, that's just so beautiful.
The thing is that there was a lot of information she told me that I knew already, but then there was just these bits and pieces and just like, wow, that really happened. And she was very happy and healthy. And I guess that's what really inspired me more, just to kind of say they're fine over there, which I already knew, but just seeing her like that, I was like, a lot of people should learn more about it.
Yeah.
So they're not afraid of it. And so they're not just sitting there going, why is my grandma mad at me? Why is my uncle mad at me? Or blah, blah. They're not mad. They don't have those emotions like that over there. So you can just let go of that thought, first of all, because a lot of people do think that all the time.
Yeah, they're not concerned with our earthly stuff. I mean, they're connected to us and they want to look out for us, but they have a very different perspective. This is just like this tiny little blip. And yes, we have stuff that we're working through here, but they're not connected with it. I have a lot of people with that same worry that bring that to me.
And even in my book, there's a chapter about the tunnel. So what happens when you first die? You go through the tunnel, and while you're in the tunnel, it's like all the human crap that you dealt with is like ripped from you, like just taken from you. So when you cross over, you only have unconditional and pure happiness. You still remember everything. You remember the process of everything, but the worry, the doubt, the fear, the anxiety, that's all gone.
So you get to like drop the baggage. How cool is that? I love that.
Yeah, which I love. I do love.
Yeah, so we have a comment. Brianna Banks, she was stubborn, who ended up taking her kitty she loved so much. I remember she wouldn't let me feed her for the longest time till she knew I could microwave it properly and it would be fine. Oh, microwave the food. I thought she was talking about microwaving the cat. I'm like, what?
No.
Took me a minute. Okay.
Yeah, so my grandmother.
Sorry.
My grandmother loved her cat. She had this cat, and she my grandma was 94 when she died. 94. I don't want to live that long. Please, Lord, no. But 94 years old. And when she started getting older in age and, she knew at one point she was going to go home, she kept saying to me, what will happen to my cat? What will happen to my cat? I swear to you, the only reason she became 94 in lifetime is because of the damn cat. She was staying here for that damn cat. But when she passed away, the person that took over the house, which was not a good situation, the cat was actually older anyways, and the cat eventually had to get put down from being sick. So the cat's over there too.
So they're together.
They're over there together. So the cat, I think it was probably 4 months after she passed, the cat joined her.
Aw, so they didn't want to live apart.
No. And
it's like The Notebook, but like with a cat.
Yeah. But that's very normal. You always hear that too. When, during readings and stuff, like there will be a passing of someone and their animal goes shortly after.
Tell me this. I'm curious this is a little off topic, but a little on topic. So I've noticed with people that pets will come in for a period of time. And my sense of it is, it seems like it's on a contract, right? So when they are transitioning into like a totally different phase of their life, that sometimes their pets will transition over because like they came in at the beginning of a cycle in their life, and as that cycle is closing out, it'll like they will cross over, right? Like they came to support that person for a period of time.
Yeah, so I love that you bring this up because it's actually another chapter in the book.
Oh, is it? Oh.
Yeah, so there's because people always question me, do animals make it to heaven? Do animals go to heaven? So I wanted a chapter in the book dedicated to animals. And you are very right. And what my spirit guide Anna has always told me is that they do chart their lives with us. And the reason for that is because they are going through a certain area of their life that they may need that support, that love. Well, I like to call angels or animals or earth angels. They really are. And they really come into our lives for a purpose and a reason. They teach us, they help us grow and understand. And when it is time for them to cross over, they will, when their job in the physical world is done. And they do go to the same place that we go to. Although now in heaven, there's 7 levels of heaven, just like there's 7 levels of what we call the underworld, but that's not what people think it is. And then there's earth in between. So we're in between those levels. Well, the animals are on one of the levels. So if you're on level 5, you can still visit your animals and loved ones and yada, yada, yada. So they still can connect with us and whatnot. Now, what I do hate is that, I shouldn't say I hate it. It just creeps me out a little bit because Anna has told me that I have a snake over there waiting for me. And I don't like snakes. I can't stand snakes. And
that's not what I heard.
I said, no, I never had a snake in this life. She goes, you're right, not in this life. So our animals from past lives will wait for us too.
So were you like a snake charmer in a past life?
No, I was native. What Anna said was I was native. And I actually hatched a snake from an egg. Loved the snake. and someone beheaded it because they found it underneath a hand
R.I.P.
woven basket.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
So
what kind of a snake is it? Do we know?
I don't know. All I know is the color. Apparently, it's like a oil slick color snake. So I don't know what kind it is directly, but
I don't know why that's so funny to me, but that's funny.
I can't. I was like, no, ma'am.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you've got a snake waiting for you on the other side.
Yeah. See, now with me, I don't want to live to be 94, but I don't want to die now because of that. just because humanly,
keep it away.
Yeah, humanly, I'm like, no, but
I know that all dogs go to heaven, but like snakes, I wasn't expecting that. I'll be honest.
Well, on the other side, what I love too is that like there's no food chain, so there's monkeys riding on lions' backs and like all of that stuff. Yeah, there's you can see this stuff.
It's like a safari over there.
It is. It's like
except they don't eat you.
No.
Okay.
They don't need to. They don't need to.
This is so fun.
Yeah.
And let us know. Pop in, guys. Say hello. Let us know that you're with us. Let us know. We thought we would talk today, and we're kind of talking about that already, but magical helpers, this help from beyond the veil, because we are never here alone. Chris is talking about his spirit guide, Anna. We all have spirit guides, so we thought we would talk a little bit about that, but we would love your questions about that or about Chris's book. I want to know if there was anything that your grandma told you that you were like, wait, what?
So there's like a few things that she kind of opened my eyes to. Most of it, like I said, I knew about. But when she crossed over, she was very stubborn crossing over. And I think it was because of her cat, and I don't know. But there was a part of her that didn't want to go in. We all know about ghosts, how there's some people that just don't want to go to the light, they get stuck and stuff. Mm-hmm. But she said, like, as she was going through it, and you're like releasing that human stuff. Now I just thought you go through the tunnel, you release it. You know, it's already gone. She goes, no, it's through periods. So as you're going through the tunnel, it's like slightly, it just comes off as you're going through. I thought it was just, you're going through the tunnel. You know what I mean? So as you're going through the tunnel and it's coming off of you and it's clearing off of you, you still start thinking human thoughts until you get to a point where it's just not there. So she was kind of like looking back, kind of going, do I want to do this? Do I want to do this? Do I want to do this? And I thought that it was either you go into the tunnel and it's just all gone and you're crossed over, or before going into the tunnel, you have the choice to cross over, you know, or stay. But she goes, no, it's throughout the tunnel that it's like, it just kind of, as you go by, and everyone's 30 over there. I already knew that, but she said that when you're going through the tunnels, when you turn 30.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're older, like your grandmother was, like she was like slowly going through the tunnel, getting younger and younger. Younger and younger. It's like death becomes her. Did you ever see that movie?
Yeah.
That's how I picture it.
Yeah. So she just goes through the tunnel and you just go younger. And then if you pass young and you go through the tunnel, you go up to 30.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. So you were also talking about something that I think is important when whether it's like your loved ones that you want to connect with, whether it's angels, spirit guides, anything that's of the light. You said something that I think is really important. You didn't want to see your grandmother.
Yeah.
So you set a boundary.
I did, yes.
And I talk about this a lot because I think that this is so key in honoring what we need here on earth, and also sometimes protecting ourselves, protecting our energy, so that we can have the kind of experiences that we feel like we are ready to have, or that we can handle mentally. Sometimes that's a lot to have certain experience. I've had some things that I'm like, no, thank you. I would not like to have that again. That's too much. And so my point is that we can set boundaries.
Yes. We're allowed to. We are allowed to. And
you set a boundary with your grandmother.
I did. Yeah. I did. And the thing is that when people don't understand that with the whole spiritual thing. They see all these movies and like all of that stuff that like they're just in there, you know, throwing things and making a muck of their house, you know. But in reality, spirit listens. We're allowed to create those boundaries and allow them to, because they understand us. So when I said to Anna and just out loud to my grandmother, I don't want to see you. I don't want to see my grandmother. You know, they'll listen because they don't want to overdo it. They don't want to step over boundaries. And, you know, our spirit guides, before they were called spirit guides, they were called channels. And it was where people were, they would actually allow who to come through to talk to people and connect with people. So they still had that ability to do so. So you just have to be aware that you are allowed to create boundaries. We have a little boy in our house named Alfred. I think we've talked about this before.
Yes.
And one night they were bothering my girls. I woke up and I said to my girls, because they were fooling around, I said, "What are you doing?" And they said, "Well, the little boy won't stop tapping on our bed." So of course I lay them back in bed and I go in the hallway, and you would have laughed so hard if you would have seen me. I'm in the hallway going, "Alfred, Alfred, Alfred." And
I love that.
So I see him show up. I'm like, "You can't bother my girls. I could scare them, play with them, whatever you want to do when they're awake, but when they're sleeping, leave them alone." And ever since then, there was no problem.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're allowed to create. You're allowed to say what you want. I don't want to see this. I want to see this, and they'll create it for you.
And do we think that Alfred or your grandma was upset with the boundary?
Oh God, if my grandma was alive and I said that, yes, she would totally be like, "What the hell do you mean?"
Excuse me, I'm gonna do it anyway.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it anyway. She technically did, if you think about it, because she worked her way around. She
found the loophole.
She did find a loophole, the spiritual loophole. But in what Spirit likes to do with the boundaries and stuff is they won't push them or overstep them, and they don't get angry about it because they understand us. They know, like, well, they're grieving. They want to let us process, or, oh, these are his kids. I can't bother them. They need sleep. They're not dead, so they don't have, dead people don't sleep. That's the thing. So let the living sleep. But when you tell them boundaries, they don't get angry or upset. They don't want to be angry or upset. So they just go, "Oh, we understand. We get it."
Yeah, that's my understanding of it too. But I've noticed that people are afraid to set boundaries with that. And I think it all comes down to, like you're saying, they don't have the same experience anymore as we're having here on Earth. And it's such a short time for them, such a tiny little blip on the radar. So they forget that we need sleep, or they forget that can be scary for us to have certain experiences. So when we set that boundary, it's just that reminder of, hey, this is what it's like for us here on Earth. This is what our experience is, and this is what I'm needing. Because it'll help me to feel more comfortable with this. So set boundaries however you want to set them. I had one time my spirit guide try to appear in my bedroom at night. And I was just like, absolutely not. And I could hear her voice, and she's just like, "Christy, just look at me. Just look at me."
And you're like, "No.
No, ma'am. No, thank you. No, thank you." I tried to climb up my headboard. I was so scared. It was and I just said, "Listen," and this was all telepathic, but I said, "I would prefer to see you in meditation, in dreams. That's how I would prefer to connect with you." And she said, "Okay." And I've never had that experience since to honor the boundary. Because no, thank you. No.
I never had a choice. I was 4 when Anna showed me her, when she popped up. So I didn't have a choice. She just said, "Hey, I'm here." So when you're old, the thing is when you get older, you're programmed mentally with all of this fear and stuff too, where when people hear things like, "Oh crap, this is a demon," or blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, calm down. It's not like that. You're just being fearful.
Because there's so much magic.
Oh yeah.
There's so much magic that's happening all around us, and we don't even realize that. One thing that I think is really, really amazing is that we never came here alone. Okay. This idea that we never came here alone. We came here with a whole team. Of spirit guides, of animal guides, of angels, of light beings, of other stuff that you might not even realize exists. There's so much, and it's a little bit different for everybody, but I will see these teams with people, and how amazing is that we come here with a plan, but also with support to help us to follow through with the plan that we came here for.
Yeah, because we're human, and I think that we're all stupid. I do. Being human sucks. It does. So when we have this team behind us, then when you don't know you have a team, and you feel like you're just going on life so alone, that's where depression kicks in. That's where you're like, "I can't keep doing this. I'm so depressed." But when you realize that you have a whole team there, and I mean a whole team, you can just say, help me with blah, 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 do blah, blah, blah. And they will do so. You know, and the thing is too, and don't get me wrong, I love everybody, but when people come to tell me, they go, Chris, I ask for help all the time and they just don't help me. I go, do you tell them what you need help with? And they go, no. I go, you could have 12 damn things wrong in your life. And here they are going, with what part? Like, where do you want me to start? Be specific, you know, say to yourself, I need help with this portion of my life, and follow through with it, watch the signs and symbols, and you'll start getting more for that part.
Exactly. I also have found that we are helped in the ways that we need, not always in the ways that we want, because it comes back to this idea that as human beings, we're stupid. Yeah. And we do not know what's best for us very often. Even Chris and I, right? We're tapped in. Yeah. We get these messages. We're connected. We're still stupid. Yeah. Our guys are still slapping themselves on the forehead all the time.
Well, this is the thing too, and I love how you bring this up, because we have what we call spiritual amnesia. Like, to be honest, if you didn't have spiritual amnesia in the physical world, you would know everything from past lives, this life, and everything like that. You would know how to get through it all. But the thing though is that we come here to learn. So when you come here to learn, that spiritual amnesia kicks in. It's saying you're not allowed to remember what happens on the other side. You're not allowed to remember what happened in your past lives. You're not allowed to. So that's where the stupid part comes in. Your brain is technically shut off. It's not even at a full potential of what you can do spiritually. It truly isn't. So when you're sitting there going, well, how am I supposed to do this? That human side is kicking in. And one, you're being guided by all of the people over there. But then you sit there and tell yourself, well, what about this or that? And blah, blah, blah. As a psychic, I can't read myself. And you know that. You can't read yourself. You can be guided from your spirit guide, where they can give you bits and pieces, like here and there. I remember when I started getting into feng shui. You know, first of all, I read a book years ago about it and was like, this is stupid. And then years later, Anna said, when I said, I'm depressed, what's wrong with me? She said, chi. That's the only thing she said to me. And I looked at chi up.
Just one word.
Just one word.
Come on, Anna.
Yeah. And I said, what is chi? And I look up chi. Underneath chi was feng shui. And I said, I'm not looking into that. It's stupid. Blah, blah, blah. And then she goes, well, if you just try it and you don't like it, then stop. And your spirit guides know you better than you know yourself. And that's the truth.
And they're very patient.
They very are. But literally, if you think about it, like if I was a spirit guide right now with my human self and I was dealing with me, I'd go, you idiot. Mm-hmm. You're just going to love it afterwards. So you might as well just do it anyways. Because that's what happened. I got addicted to it.
Just trust me already.
Yes. Yeah. But humanly, we just want to learn. We're like 2-year-olds. The terrible twos. Yeah. We're all living our terrible twos.
Yeah. And sometimes we insist on learning the hard way. But also, I think I'll have people ask me about, Christy, what if I felt so led to go down this path and had this experience with this, and on the other side of it, I feel like, why did I feel pulled to go in that direction? Because I regret it, or that was a really hard experience, or whatever. But I think we came here to learn things and to grow through things, and not that everything has to be hard or difficult, because I think that we also have the opportunity to create heaven on earth.
Definitely.
And that's part of what we came here to do. But I also think that there are lessons and there are ways that we're meant to grow. So sometimes people will say, well, I trusted my intuition and it was wrong. Well, was it really wrong? Or was it a path that you needed to go down so that you could learn certain things, so that you could be a better version of yourself, so that you could show up in a better way and receive better things here in this world? Yeah. So also there's that.
Yeah. And I want to 100% agree with that, because a lot of people think that they are wrong with their intuition. But no, you are supposed to learn from that area of your life. You're supposed to be placed in those situations to learn. And you know, there's things that I would look at, and with our spiritual charts, the Akashic records. When Anna first told me about these records, I was mad. I said, so you're telling me right now that I wrote daddy issues all over? And she goes, you did not write daddy issues, but you chose your father so he can put you through the situations that you're supposed to learn from. I sat there and was like, yeah, daddy issues. Easily just say that, you know?
Yeah.
But we wanted to go through that. And then as you get older and you get that intuition, that vibe of going, oh, I should go in this direction, or I should go in that direction. And there was things that we stumble upon. We want to make sure that we understand that that's just part of that life lesson. We're supposed to be there, you know? And you probably get this question all the time too, because people, they go, Chris, am I on the right track? Mm-hmm. Most of the time, You always are.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes, I believe that too.
Mhm.
That comes through so much. I get that question a lot, and that does come through so much because, again, we come here to learn and grow. And so it can start to feel like you're on the wrong track. And I find too, even if people start to go off track a bit, God's going to use it.
Yeah.
Right? God's going to use it to teach you, show you as another lesson in your life, and ultimately give you that opportunity to shift back and get back on track with things. I don't see very many people who are so wildly off path that they can't get back to where they can be.
Yeah. But you know what? And I love that you say that, because I believe that the people that come to you and I, they're always on track. And the reason for that is because I've heard a reference to us being like gas stations. Did you ever hear that?
No.
Okay,
I love
let's do this.
Okay.
Let's... So think of us as gas stations. And, you know, back in the old days, people had maps, obviously. They didn't have the GPSs. So this is what we're referencing is like back yonder, you know? back
in my day. Chris is a little bit younger.
Yeah. So you have to think that when people couldn't read the map fully or understand what direction they're going in, they would stop at gas stations for that direction. We are those people that help direction. So we're those gas stations that people stop at to get that guidance, to be in that, because they're on the right track. They just need to go, oh, how do we just turn left here first? You know, just have that little bit of guidance first. And that's what we are.
I love that so much. Yeah. And then I think if we take that a step further, I think about how there were some people who needed directions who were not willing to stop at the gas station to get it.
Yeah.
So how long do you want to flounder? How long do you want to drive around in circles before you stop and you
before you break down, you know, there's a lot of things.
And there's free will in that. There's choice, and you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
But yeah, back yonder, Chelsea said. Hi, Chelsea. Hi, Renee. Hi, Sheila. Hi, Meg. Say hello if you guys are watching.
Yeah.
We're kind of in a flow.
Yeah, and ask some questions too that we can answer.
What can we answer for you?
Yeah.
So I've also noticed with this help, and when I talk about help, yes, it's guides, angels, all of these things, right? But it's all underneath the umbrella, if you will, of God. So if you're somebody who you're like, well, I don't know who to ask for help and I don't know where to start, to me, that's always to start with God. And that's really, I always go straight to God and know that the instructions are sent to my guides and my angels anyway. So, and it doesn't have to be God for you. It can be the universe. It can be whatever your higher power is, but just starting with, I would like help with this specifically. And then they will help to support you in whatever ways you're needing. Again, whatever ways you're needing. So what I want to invite you to do is to start to look around and notice what's happening for me. Are there things that are happening around me that feel like signs, that feel like messages, that feel like synchronicities? These kind of things, because it's happening constantly around us and we don't even realize. There's so much magic in the world.
Yeah.
I was offered an opportunity, just as an example, over the weekend, and I had a conversation with somebody, and he was asking, well, where are you from? And I told him where I'm from. I got a message from him the next day, and he sent me a picture of he was out walking his dog, of a fire hydrant that said Elmira, New York on it. We have a company here called Kennedy Valve that makes fire hydrants.
Yeah.
And he said, I just thought that this was so funny. And for me, that was a little wink from God to say, this opportunity is something that you want to lean into a little bit more. Just the fact that he noticed that he sent that my way. And that's how that stuff works. Yeah. It can be really obvious like that, or it can be something very simple, but it's just, I think there's a feeling when something is a sign. Have you ever noticed that? I get this specific feeling in my body, and I want you to pay attention to that and start to notice that that is you being shown that you're being helped. That's you being shown maybe the direction that you might go with your free will choices to be on the best possible path, because there are better paths than others.
Yeah.
There are higher timelines than others. But as we're paying attention to that and we're listening to that and honoring that, it's going to lead you where you're meant to be. And you may not necessarily feel like you know where you're going, or you might not necessarily feel like you are being helped. But if you stay on that path and you just trust and you honor it and you keep going, it's going to get you there.
Yeah.
And sometimes it takes time.
And I agree with that.
Yeah.
I completely agree with that. And another thing I like to tell people too is because people come to me and they go, Chris, I don't think God's answering my prayers. I keep talking to him and I don't think he's answering prayers. Yes, he did. He said no. And he's allowed to say no because there's certain aspects of your life that you have to learn from. You come here to learn those things. So there's things that he can't be involved with. You wrote it. You had to live through it.
Yeah, exactly. It's what's that quote? Redirection is God's protection too.
Yes.
Sometimes it's not meant for us. And that comes back to we're stupid.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we think that we know, we think, wow, this is the best thing available to us. And God is like, listen, I've got something better for you, but you've got to trust me and you've got to create some space in your life for it. Because I think so often too, our lives are so full, like you do with feng shui, a lot of clearing and releasing and all of that stuff. And when we make space in our home, that moves energy.
Yes.
But also when we make space in our lives. So when we're willing to say, I see that I'm being shown that this isn't aligned for me, so I'm willing to let it go, even if I don't know what's going to ultimately fill that space. And if we're willing to let ourselves be comfortable with it just being sort of an open space for a while too. Because I find that people love a space filler.
Yeah.
So they'll find, so for example, with relationships, they were willing to let go of a relationship, but rush right back into something else. And they know it's not right for them, but it's filling a void. They're right there for a little while instead of just sitting with the space and trusting and waiting for something that truly feels aligned.
Yeah. I love how you bring up the relationships. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Right before, I'm just just you go into relationships like crazy. Yeah. I get that. Yeah.
Yeah. Dump them.
Leave them. Yeah.
Only if they're not aligned. I think that beautiful things can come in and be aligned, but it's a matter of allowing that space for a little while.
Yeah. And
being willing to hold standards with that too.
Yes.
If you're just letting any old person in your life, that ain't it.
Yeah. Well, and going back to feng shui real quick. Not only is it your environment with your home when you create your home that you want to create abundance and more and things like that, but it's the people. It's the people that help you create your life as well. So if you're always bringing people around you that are depressed and stubborn and, they talk crap about their own lives, you're absorbing that energy, which is making you at that low vibration. So it's the people. You want to surround yourself with people that have the higher vibrations, that, that are successful and happy and yada, yada, yada. And this doesn't mean oh, I can't stand my mother, so let's just kick her out of the page. No, just love her, love her, but love her from afar. Maybe do dinner once in a while with her. Whenever she talks about a crap, just kind of push it aside, kind of say, okay, I don't want to listen to that, or change the subject. But, when we have those certain people around us, it does lower the vibration, and it makes it so we can't create the life that we want to create because we're stuck at that low vibration.
I am so mindful about who I invest my time and my energy in now.
Yeah.
And I've learned that, by the way, through a lot of lessons.
Yeah.
I had to learn that. I've had a lot of great teachers.
Yeah.
But now I understand that my time and my energy is an investment. So I'm investing that in people, places, and things that lift me up, that I leave feeling good from.
Yep.
That I leave feeling like I've learned something, they made me better in some way, that we are creating something together in some way, that kind of stuff. It's such a priority for me at this time in my life because I don't have time for anything else.
No.
Sending love, but I'm not interested in crusty vibes.
Yeah. Love that. Love that. I was just telling my husband the other day because I just turned 31. And I said, he was talking crap to me. My husband and I's love language is crap talking to each other. and you know that. But with him, I go, you better be careful what you say to me now because I'm prone to heart attacks, being 31. And he just started laughing. But I feel like, him and I have the really good relationship. And even though we crap talk to each other, that's our way of showing love. But if there's someone that's literally always bullying you and, you know, just always pinpointing crap, then that might be someone they have to let go of. You know, you just have to pay.
It's not the vibe.
Yeah.
It's not the vibe. I mean, what does that do for you other than re-traumatize you? That's it.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that we have to hate anyone. In fact, I don't think that we should.
No, I don't hate anybody.
Exactly. We can send light in their direction and wish the best for them. And that's a really beautiful thing. If you can get to the place where you can do that when you really don't like somebody or when you hate someone. But I think ultimately we want to be mindful about who we choose to surround ourselves with until, if ever, those people get themselves to a place where it's a matching vibration. It's a matching experience, essentially, so that we can walk away feeling good with one another and have a really shared vision and shared energy that feels good.
Yeah. And I love that you bring that up, because when you work on yourself, and I'm not going to say spiritually because it doesn't have to be a spiritual thing, but when you heighten your own vibration by doing things that you love and, you know, you're working on yourself, sometimes that bleeds off into people. So those people that may have a harder time, they see that connection. They see that, oh, they're doing something different. I should do that. And it helps them understand it differently too. So you're actually helping teaching other people, which I love.
Yeah. And energy is contagious.
Exactly.
So if you focus on being such a light in this world, people are going to leave your energy field feeling light most of the time.
Yeah.
It's inspiring.
And the thing is too, is that a lot of people, they get very upset or worried or scared because when you're working on yourself spiritually, you're going to start seeing a lot of people go, what are you doing? This isn't, you know, you're changing. This isn't okay. And it's not literally them saying that you're changing. It's not okay. That's them showing fear. You're changing now. You're moving up. And this means you're going to end up leaving me. It doesn't mean you're going to have to leave. It just means that they're fearful that since you are changing into a higher vibration, that you're just going to disappear. Right. You know, and truly, I feel like even with me understanding that more, whenever I see people get that fear from me because I'm still advancing, you know, we're advancing every day. But when people go, something's not right. Are you okay? Like they'll ask that first. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm wonderful. No, you've been off a little bit lately. Have I been off, or are you feeling different towards me? Do you understand what I mean? Have I been off, or are you feeling different towards me? And then when you start understanding that, I comfort them. I'm just at a higher vibration right now. I'm feeling really good about my life. Things are wonderful. You're welcome to join me. You know, how about we help you? You know what I mean? And that's what I love to do. I try to change people's lives through all my work, my psychic readings, the feng shui. I love to change people's lives. That's what I'm here for. That's what we're here for, you know?
Yeah. And so many people that would watch this video are people who are interested in raising their vibration. I do spiritual life coaching, and I call it soul therapy. Mm-hmm. And one thing that I say to a lot of the people that I work with, especially if they're earlier on their spiritual journey, is understand that as you're working on elevating yourself and elevating your life, that things are going to change and things are going to be different. And some people are going to naturally fall away. Some relationships are going to change. There will be other changes in your life that you're going to feel called to make, because it's like one thing leads to another. Because once you bring your energy to a different place, then different people, places, and things are going to align with it. It's just energy. It's not that you're better than anyone or anything like that. It's just an energy, and you feel it. And sometimes that's tough for people. I know it was for me. There was a whole clearing process that happened a couple of times actually, and that was really tough on a human level for me to feel like, oh, I don't have the same relationships, and I'm not surrounded by some of the same people, and I'm very sentimental. So that was hard for me for a little while. But what I realized is that when we get to this place where we are truly in a higher vibrational state, that the quality of the people that you're surrounded by is better. And it feels so good. Yeah. And it contributes to my life in such a different way. Yeah. And I love that.
Yeah. And
so you get there.
Yeah. And going back to where, when you were explaining, like when people were leaving and, you felt a certain way because you were human, that's grief. We grieve over people passing, and we grieve over people leaving our lives. And the thing though is that you're human. You're going to go through that process no matter what. And so when you do go through this process and people kind of just start evaporating somewhere, kind of going away, you just have to understand that you're just going to grieve that process. It's just a little bit of grief. And then, just like when people pass away, you just get used to it. It becomes that new norm. And then those higher vibration becomes the new norm. I remember when I started even studying more into it, especially Bob Proctor's work, and I started like seeing everyone disappear. I was going through that grieving process, but I think that understanding why I was going through that grieving process, that helped a lot. It helped so much because I was like, I'm grieving because I love them, but that may not have been good for me now. So you have to just go through that process.
Yeah. And to honor yourself and that intuitive knowing when something doesn't align anymore, because usually we know and we feel that we just don't always like the answer. That's another thing. God will step in to help us, but we don't always like the answer.
Yeah. But we're like children. When you were a kid, do you ever like the answer? Yeah. It's just, the thing is that, whenever I as I was young, I remember sitting there and I wanted to be an actor so badly. And I was like, Anna, can you help me remember my lines? Can you like whisper some things to me? Like, is there anything that you can do? And she said to me, you're not supposed to be an actor. And like that hurt. Like at first I was like,
hard.
Yeah, I was like, excuse me? Like I was mad. And she goes, you're going to be on stage, but in a different way. And years later, I'm on stage doing lectures, talks, Facebook Lives and all of that stuff.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Do you guys have questions? We are just in a flow, but I would love, hi, Angela. Hi, Sue. Hi, Colleen. Hi, Jacqueline. Oh, first time ever seeing your channel. I know I was led here. Oh yeah, absolutely. Thanks for being here. Make sure you subscribe.
Yes.
Lynette and Ruth. Hi.
Yeah.
What questions do you guys have for us about what we talked about help from the other side, about crossed loved ones, anything like that?
Yeah.
Not necessarily personal questions, but more of a spiritual question.
Yeah.
What do you guys have?
Any guidance?
We would love to answer all of that for you.
Yeah.
Before we close this out.
I do love seeing everyone pop on.
Yeah.
Renee says, Chris, you learned to be the father you wanted. LOL. It sucks when it's hard, but it works.
Yeah,
that's definitely true.
Exactly. Yeah.
I did learn to be the father I never had, and I did have, I do have a stepfather who raised me since I was 5, and he's my dad, and I love him dearly. And, he was always a good father. It was just the fact that when you're a kid, you always wanted that bond with that blood related, and it just didn't work. It just wasn't one of those things. And you are right. I did learn to be a better father, so.
Sometimes we do learn that the opposite of how somebody approaches things. We look at that and we go, nope, that's not how I want to do my life.
Yes. Do you ever notice too, with the saying, life isn't happening to me, it's happening for me. You know that saying. Do you ever notice that when people have it like, when life is happening to me, those are the people that tend to get stuck in those paradigms. They have the addictions, they have this, they have that. But when you think about it as it's happening for me, then that's what people that are learning, they're processing, and they go on that better journey. It's like when they blame life, they go, oh, I'm blaming life for this. Then that's when they get stuck. But when they're not blaming life, it just becomes easier.
Yeah, because it is happening for you.
Yeah.
And part of that is about recognizing the magic in the world. Once you start to go, okay, so this sucked and I don't like that it happened, but if everything is always working out for me, if everything is happening for me, then that must mean that something incredible is coming my way.
Yeah.
It must. And when you have that knowing, because it is a knowing, when you connect with it, because that is the truth, then you open the door to even greater blessings to come in. It's incredible.
Yeah. And it's all based on your mindset. We are co-creators. God's the creator. We're the co-creators. So if we can co-create whatever you think, speak, and feel, you're creating that in your life. So if you sit there and you're dealing with depression, for example, well, are you going to sit there and continue to deal with your depression, or are you going to work your way out of it and change your life? Because if you don't do anything about it and you're staying in that depression, more of the stuff that's depressing is going to happen to you. You know, and what I really love too is that there's these laws. People don't know about all the universal laws. You've heard about law of attraction, all that stuff. Well, one of my favorite laws that I dived into is the law of polarity. And with the law of polarity, everything's the opposite. There's hot, cold, up, down, in and out. And we always talk about how the world around us sucks sometimes, but like if you think about you internally, what is the conflict that's creating that? Because whatever you feel internally is going to create externally. So if you feel worthless, you're going to bring more people around you in situations around you that are making you feel more worthless. And if you feel, rich beyond measures and happy, you will get all that out of the outcome. It all depends on how you feel.
And it might take little steps to get you there, because it's hard to move out of that heavier, darker, pessimistic state of mind.
Yeah.
So I think you start with just cracking the door open to the possibility that life in some way could get better.
Yeah.
That there is maybe potentially kind of sort of something that's greater than you, that's looking out for you, that wants to help you, that wants to support you. And you're going to pay attention just a little bit to see if there's any kind of evidence of that. That's a good place to start if you're coming from a deep, dark, heavy place, because I think it's hard to go from that to, oh my gosh, the world is magical and God is great and everything is always working out for me and everything is amazing and it's happening for me. Sometimes that's like a big leap. So we want to take those little steps to move toward that by just choosing a little bit of a better thought, a little bit of an openness to the possibility that something could be a little bit better.
Yeah.
And then you move along that a little bit at a time.
Yeah. And Bob Proctor was once asked, how do you stop the negative thoughts? And Bob says, well, how do you walk into a dark room? You turn on the light. So it's all based on turning that little spark in your head. So when that negative thought pops in your head, you reverse it. You turn on the light with it. So what's the opposite of what you're thinking now? And that's that little step. It's all based on that. What's the opposite of what you're thinking now? My life sucks. No, let's say that, change that. My life is beautiful and wonderful. It doesn't mean you have to go out there and dance in the rain. You can if you want to. That's beautiful to do. Sometimes don't get pneumonia. But it's one of those things that, like, let's rephrase it. Let's rephrase what we're thinking. Because once you do that little bit, it starts that repetition of creating bigger things.
Yes. Use that part of you that's stubborn like Chris's grandma and me, or sassy or whatever, to talk back to that voice.
Yeah.
Talk shit to that voice. Be like, you don't talk to me that way.
Yeah.
Who do you think you are?
Yeah. I always
and you find something better to think.
Yeah. I always think of it as like a sibling.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't like your siblings telling you what to do. You don't like your siblings telling you what to do.
Excuse me, sir. No.
Yeah. So whenever you have that thought pop in your head, no, you don't tell me. And you do the opposite of it, because now you're just going to piss your sibling off.
Oh my
How fun is that?
That's life-changing. I love that.
Life-changing,
I love that. Let's see.
I love it. Sheila says, I cannot stand younger generation always saying FML, then make changes. I love this. So I love when children go, I never asked to be born. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. You chose this life. You chose your parents. You chose it all. So if you have any children and you hear your child say, I never asked to be born, say, yes, you did. You chose me. Get over it.
So fun story about FML. One day I said that in a message, and the person that I was having a conversation with was like, family medical leave? What's that? And so every time I see that, that's all I think of.
I love that. Oh, I love that. That's a good way to think about it too, though.
Yeah.
Because then because then you can just change your own thought with that. Like when you're annoyed with it, just go, family medical leave. What the?
Yeah.
So
maybe it could be LML, love my life.
Yeah.
Love my life. And that's how you change it.
Let's start posting that.
And start to just speak better and put better out there, and you're going to start to get better. It might take a little time. Sometimes it takes time for the energy to catch up.
Yeah. And we fight against ourselves, though. That's the problem. So like when you're going to make these changes happen and we're so excited, I got this plan, blah, 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 but then we become lazy, or we get on our phones and all that stuff. That's our own programming. You have to, again, do the opposite of it. If you want to make changes, take action on it. You have to take action. If you thought of an idea right then and there, don't wait on it. Get up and do it, because you need that momentum. That momentum has to happen. If you don't have the momentum, you still won't go anywhere.
Right. Right. Yeah. Well, I want to wait. Let's see. One more comment. Sheila says someone recently said GFY, and I thought it meant good for you.
Oh, I don't know.
Doesn't
what it means.
it?
I don't know.
Doesn't it? What does GFY mean?
Okay, it could be.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh, how rude.
Yeah, like I don't know if that's really what it means, but it could. Like that's the first thing that pops in mind.
Yeah, I would have thought good for you too.
Yeah, I would have thought that too, but now
maybe that's like in the South when they say "bless your heart."
I love when they say that. I do. I love that because I'm like, to me, I'm just like, you're really talking shit to me right now, and even though you're being nice about it, you're talking shit. Bless your heart. No, you're really saying you stupid ass. Like,
But kind of jokes on them, because that's like a really beautiful thing to say to someone, really, because you're blessing somebody.
Yeah.
So
she put it there.
Oh yeah. Okay, so it's go F yourself. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that's different.
It is. I might use it.
I love it. We can use it in different ways. So if Chris and I say GFY, then it means good for you.
Yeah. Sometimes. Depends on my mood. Yeah.
So to wrap up, can you talk about when your book is coming out and what people need to know? So
my book, From Life to Afterlife, What Happens When You Die, it comes out February 12th, so this Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Amazon. So I will have a link on my page. There'll be, if you guys go to my website right now, you can sign up for the email listing. You'll get an email like that morning, and probably like right before, like an hour before. I'm also doing a launch party on Zoom that day. So I'm super excited for that. It's at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the party starts. So we're just gonna be celebrating that this is launching, that, we're gonna be talking about the book a little bit, and we're also gonna be doing live spirit-led readings. So I'll be picking people who come on and whatever spirit gets drawn to, and then they can ask questions and whatnot. So I'll be doing spirit-led drawings, and you can get a ticket for that too, which is on my Facebook page. I had to do tickets because there's limited spots for that. So you can join me for that, and then right after that, obviously the launch party, this launches. So yeah. I'm super excited. Yeah. Well, we can't wait to read it. I haven't read it yet either. So From Life to Afterlife, What Happens When You Die. Yeah. And the cover came to me in a vision, which I love. And what I do love too is that my one friend who's seen it said this looks like a keyhole. Mm-hmm. So it's like heaven's gates, and you're into a keyhole. I love it. Yeah. So I do love the cover, and it's just all, And in the meantime, it's only a couple days, but I did put the link for Chris's website up in the description, so you can go to that. I have my website up there. So if you get on his email list, or I think you have things posted on your website about the book too, right? Yes. So either way, but you're going to want to get on his email list. I'm going to be sending something out in my email list too with all of that info. So get on both of our email lists. Yeah, join for it. And then of course we do things here and there where some of her stuff will be on mine, because we always go back. We work together. That's what we do. So join us. Fun together. Yeah. Love it. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us live. If you're watching the replay, hit us with a #replay or your favorite emoji, or just let us know that you're watching. I always love to know who's watching these videos. I love you all. Thank you for tuning in. Yes. And we will see you soon. Yes. With another video, a bathtub video probably next. Yes. I would love that. Yeah. Yes. We'll be in the bathtub next time. All right. Bye, guys.